Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Susie and today I'm making morning buns. This recipe is very easy to make and there is barely any kneading required. And it only requires a total rising time of about 1 hour to 1 hour and a half. And the results are so delicious, moist and flaky, and honestly you won't be able to stop eating these. All right, let's get to baking. We're going to start by combining the sugar, the yeast, the salt, and the flour together in a Ziploc bag. And I'm also going to add the butter. Before you add the butter into the dry ingredients, you want to go ahead and cut them into 1/4 inch pieces. Seal the Ziploc bag. And we're gonna give it a good shake so the dry ingredients can coat the butter. After the butter pieces are well coated with the dry ingredients, I'm going to release the air. And I'm going to spread the ingredients. And using a rolling pin, we're just going to roll the ingredients together. And we're going to shake and repeat. So if you notice that you didn't take out all the air like me right here, we're going to go ahead and just make sure we have all of the air out. After that, we're going to transfer the dry ingredients into a large mixing bowl, and we're going to add an egg yolk, ice cold water, orange juice, and sour cream. And now we mix them all together. I'm gonna transfer the dough to my countertop. And we're going to knead until everything comes together. It shouldn't take too long. Once everything is well combined, I'm going to add a little bit of flour. I'm going to keep kneading for about 30 seconds. And I'm going to form a ball. Now I'm just going to flour my surface. And we're going to roll the dough into a 12 by 20 inch rectangle. And now we're going to roll the dough into a tight cylinder. And if your dough is very sticky like mine, that means your ingredients were not as cold as they needed to be. But if you have a dough scraper like this, you can use that to help you roll the dough. Just gonna add more flour so dough doesn't stick to the countertop. And we're going to make sure the seam is facing downwards. And now we're going to press the dough into a 12 by 4 rectangle. I'm going to transfer the dough to a baking pan lined with parchment paper. I'm going to loosely cover with plastic wrap greased with vegetable oil spray. I'm going to pop in the freezer for 15 minutes. While the dough is in the freezer, we'll start working on the filling. And then we're going to mix them all together. And now we're going to set this aside. We're also going to line our muffin pan with muffin liners. And this is optional. You can just go ahead and grease them with vegetable oil spray to prevent the buns from sticking onto the pan. Exactly 12. And we're also going to give them a good spray. And this is just to make sure that we can easily take the buns out of the liners. After taking the dough out of the freezer, we're going to lightly flour our surface, and we're going to transfer our dough to our floured surface. And now we're going to roll our dough into a 20 by 12 inch rectangle. And if your dough is sticky, you can go ahead and pop it in the freezer for about 5 more minutes. And now we're going to transfer our filling onto the dough. And we're going to press it, but we're going to leave about a 1/2 inch at the edge uncovered with the sugar. And once you're done, you just want to go ahead and press it so the sugar can adhere to the dough. And now we're going to roll the dough into a tight cylinder. Just take your time. Then we're going to pinch the seam just like that. I'm gonna press really hard since the dough is firm. Right, so it appears it doesn't want to form a seal, so we're just gonna leave it like that. The recipe suggests that you trim about a 1/2 inch from each edge and discard, but I'm actually going to save those. I'm actually going to trim about 1 inch. You want to trim using a serrated knife. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in the muffin liners, and I'll just bake it alongside with the other ones, so we're not wasting any. We have spent so much time making these, we're not going to waste any. Okay, so now I'm going to do my best to cut these into 12 equal pieces, and I think I'm going to use this to help guide me. After cutting them up, we're going to transfer them into our muffin liners. And now we're going to cover with greased plastic wrap, and we're going to let it rise for about 1 hour to 1.5 hours, or until they've doubled in size. You can also rise this in the fridge for about 16 to 24 hours, but make sure you let them sit in room temperature for about 1 hour before baking. About 10 minutes before your dough is done rising, go ahead and preheat your oven to 425 degrees F. After the oven is done preheating, transfer the buns to the oven, and we're going to bake them for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, we're going to reduce the oven temperature to 325 degrees F. And now we're going to let it bake for about 40 to 50 minutes, or until the buns are golden brown. And make sure you rotate halfway through baking to make sure they bake evenly. After they're ready, go ahead and take them out of the oven, and we're going to let them cool in the tray for about 5 minutes. And after that, we're going to transfer them to a cooling tray. It smells so good. One thing I noticed is there was a lot of oil left in the pan, so you want to make sure you put your buns over a paper towel or something to catch the excess oil. Otherwise, you're going to have a ton of grease on your surface. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try one. And it looks like it has a ton of layers, just like croissants. You can also take the buns out of the liners if you want. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. Wow. That is really good. It has the texture of croissants, but the taste of cinnamon rolls, if that makes sense. It is so flaky and rich and delicious. And the orange flavor just adds like a extra layer of something. I can't really put my finger on it, but it just makes it even more delicious. I hope you guys try this out. It is very easy to make, barely any kneading required, and it doesn't take that long to make, and it is very delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.